John Ruffle here again, and I'm developing this narrative of my own personal journey of faith, of how I went from being a student, radical, countercultural activist in England to coming through my involvement in America, Penn State University as a student, and then hitchhiking around North America, across Canadian plains and up to Alaska and down again, how I encountered the Jesus of the Scriptures, the Christ whom we worship. Yeah, it was life transforming and vitally important. You might say, well, I've never had an experience like that. Well, maybe you've never been as deeply in sin as I was, and you might not have done all the radical stuff that I did in my youth, and I'm not proud of that, but it's part of who I am. And God used it to turn my life around so that that radicalism and that idealism could be channeled and changed and transformed into who I am, which basically I'm a very missional person as part of who I am in Christ. And one of the turning points of my life was when I was 15 at school, and one of my teachers, his name was Sawyer. And I can remember his classroom after class one day, and I can remember the desk, and him sitting there on top of a desk with his pipe. He was very young, he was in his 30s, and his tweed jacket and his legs crossed. And he said to me, John, he said, you're an idealist. He said, but I challenge you. By the time you're 35, you'll have lost your idealism, and you'll have realized that there's no hope for this world. There's nothing you can do to change the world. But he said, go on and be an idealist, but I challenge you, you're going to lose your idealism. And it was like he threw the gauntlet down at me. Fantastic teacher. And that stayed with me all these years. And I was determined as a young man to prove him wrong. And of course I determined in my own strength that Jesus saw that desire and changed me. And I want to give you another example of a teacher at Penn State University, my tutor. I don't know her name. I remember the incident after class again, and she's sitting there, and I go in with a form. So this is the end of the academic year for Penn State. So it had been June 1972, and I'd filled out an application to do an internship at a television station in Altoona, Pennsylvania. It would have been a 6-week internship. It would have been very, very nice for me because I'm absolutely focused on getting involved in the media and pursuing a career in the media. My intention was to make life-changing films. How can you make a life-changing film or life-changing anything unless your own life's been transformed? But that was, that's another story. So I filled out the application form for this internship, and I took it to my tutor, and all I needed was her signature at the bottom of this piece of paper. And I was confident she'd just sign it and say, great, John, go for it. Because whereas in Durham I'd been a failing student, when I got to Penn State, to rewind a little bit to the beginning of the academic year, this same tutor had set an assignment, a script writing assignment. And I'd written a script and handed it in, and I'm waiting, as you do, you wait for your essays and so forth to come back, your assignments to come back the following week or 2 weeks later with bated breath when your tutor hands out the work. So here you go. And she handed out everybody's work except for mine. And she looked at me and she says, John, I want to talk to you after class. I said, oh my goodness, what have I done? Same tutor, right? This is 6, 7, 8 months earlier. When everybody was out of the room, shut the door, private, And she says, John, she said, I'm not marking this work. It's an insult to me. It's full of swear words and so forth, and it's written in an untidy manner. Remember, this was before the day of computers. I'm not marking it. She said, but this is the thing. She said, I'm giving you 7 days extension to come up with something good, because I know you're capable of far better work than this. I'm giving you an extension. I won't mark you down for it. And I went away and I was shamed into doing something really, really good, and I borrowed a friend's typewriter. I typed the script and got a straight A for that. And she threw the challenge out. She said the magic words were, but John, you are capable of far better than this. Challenge again. And I went away and it transformed my educational life. And that year, I've just missed the honours list by this much. And that was because I overextended myself on a special project. I actually ended up teaching as an undergraduate special project, teaching the television course that 2 terms earlier I'd been enrolled on. And I couldn't do any grading without doing graduate work. They wouldn't let me do graduate work, so there you are. So that's how my life changed around, even before I came to Christ. So teachers take encouragement from that. So anyway, now back to the end of the academic year at Penn State. The same tutor. I've got this piece of paper. I want to do this internship in Altoona TV station so desperately. And then I'll go back to England, finish my qualification, and whatever, my dream was to join the BBC educational department, but anyway, she looks at me and she says, John, but I'm not signing it. I think, oh my gosh. I said, I'm begging you, please sign this. She says, no, she says, you don't need to be locked up in a second-rate TV station for 6 weeks. You need to get a backpack and see America. It might be the only chance you get. She says, you've done every course you could imagine to do. You've had free reign to do any undergraduate course. You've done them. And she says, I want to give somebody else a chance to succeed now. You get a backpack and see America. I don't know if she was a Christian or not, but I did what she said, and that is why I got a backpack and hitchhiked all across America, 7,500 miles, until I came to California and came to faith in Christ Jesus. So I'm saying this because I want to encourage you that are teachers to spend time with your students and be encouraged and mentor them. Don't just teach, mentor them, and know that even if you never hear about it, you are changing people's lives, especially when you in your own heart have faith in Christ. I don't know whether my tutor was a Christian or not, but she loved me as a person in a way that was appropriate and encouraged me and spoke to my heart and was used by God to help transform my life. So there you are, a short little testimony of what happened, one of the little incidents that happened before I came to a living relationship with Jesus Christ. I hope this helps you today. God bless you. It's John Ruffle. Shalom, Charismatic Community, Birmingham, England. Walk in the faith of Jesus Christ and be blessed. Amen.